Our social self likes to please people. That's its number one. Oh my gosh, if I don't do that, that person's not gonna be happy with me. Your authentic self doesn't worry so very much about that. They feel that my authentic self has had to learn they'll be fine. They're not totally dependent on me. They'll take care of themselves. They'll figure it out. They're not gonna die. They're gonna live. Boy, my social self sure thinks it's awfully important if it thinks I'm gonna destroy somebody else's life with my decisions about living my own life. It dislikes change. Our social self dislikes change. There's nothing wrong with it. It's nice to have some things that we can count on all the time, right? It's nice to know that this will start at approximately 10:30 to 45. That there will be a musician and somebody will say something, you know. They may not know what yet, but it's good to know that, because the authentic self is saying, we'll figure it out when we get there. You know, so but we do have to work the two together. It's when we get out of balance with it, though. And our social self likes to follow the rules. It likes to know that there are rules, and let's follow the rules. It's avoidance-based. I would like to avoid getting into trouble, if at all possible. Your authentic self may say, I might get a little bit of trouble, but I gotta do this anyway. It's predictable, it's hardworking, it's conforming, it's planned. So that's where our thought that you have to work really hard to do the things that you love, or to be successful. It comes from our social self. Because somebody taught us that. You have to work really hard. Now go to school and work really hard, okay? But I don't understand. That's okay, just keep working harder and harder. But I'm not doing well. That's okay, keep working harder. And instead it would be, well, maybe we should get like somebody who can explain it differently to you. Who can tap into your authentic self so it makes more sense. So, in the no is the answer to the yes. But we first have to recognize it. We have to understand that when our body is saying no, and everything out here is saying no, that it's actually on purpose. That our very strands of DNA expand and contract depending whether we're in love or fear. And as Becca was saying, because this is about Becca,
Right.
what she was saying the other day was she went to a chiropractor and they told her her thermo something. Not her thermocoupling, I know that. Her thermo something was off. And the idea was, you know, when we're in fear, we're in our fight and flight mode, and the reason our brain is foggy and doesn't work well is because all of our blood is going to our legs so that we can start running and get out of the situation. So I mean, our actual physicality, God is within that. Spirit is within that. It's speaking to us. It's not an accident that we don't have any brain power when we're in fear. Because it's just trying to survive. We're in survival mode when we're in fear. And really, the idea is to move into and to realize that within each and every one of us are the seeds of our God greatness, are the seeds that are supposed to be expressed here. Everybody has it within them. But if we don't allow it, because we're so caught up in our social self, we're not using our social self just to show up for appointments, just to play nice in environments so that we can get along well enough so we can do the things we need to do. When we get it where it's running the show and we're simply pleasing people, we're simply avoidance-based, we're simply fearful, then we're really not living our lives fully, and we're not creating the wonderful, rich soil that will allow those seeds to express here. So all of this in the no, in O, is good because it's pointing us to our yes. It's saying I need to modify, I need to change. And it also means I need to correct. Who am I really here? Am I just this poor little human being that's being pushed around back and forth? Or is it asking me to go deeper and say, who am I really? Am I the one who chose to come here? Who chose to bring something into this world? Who has something to express here? Is that who I really am? And certainly if that's who I am, and I am an eternal being, then I have the entire universe supporting me and bringing it forth. And I can't do it wearing the mask of the social self. I have to get real. I have to move, pay attention from the nose and move over to the yeses. And I'll feel it in my body and I'll see it in my life. And every time I get off a little bit and I feel myself becoming lethargic and confused and fearful, it's just a no saying modify again. Remember who you are. It's all here to support you. We are so loved. We are loved. There's nothing to really clear up except our minds. Thank you.